In this example, we'll show how we can add mobility. So I will remove uh, I will remove some sensor nodes here, and what I will do is that this node, let's draw the map here and use this node, for example, here, and let's say that let's do so that the node comes, for example, from here. Yes, let's just go. So we'll make it a mobile node that, for example, goes from here till here, for example. But I don't want that this node will communicate with that one, just with the, yes, let's say that it do something like this. So when it comes here, it will send the messages to that one and route it here. So this is the previous simulation. See if I run it, as you can see here, we have the transmitter and the routers and the receiver here. So this is because I changed it during simulation. Okay, let's take into account this scenario, and then to make this sensor node as a mobile, we'll first draw the route using this button. Let's say it starts from here and goes until here. I don't know what is the points that I get here. I will generate some points here, marker parameters, route from markers, then it's good. So it goes from here till here. I can select all this node using this button. So this is the markers, and then we can click or yes, click on the button U many times, like here. So we can add many points. The difference between in time between 2 points is 1 second. So the point goes, this node will go from a point to another in 1 second. In 1 second. This is not so we do something like this. Maybe we can just stop it here. So we can select just these markers and delete it, and the node will stop here and continue communicating with this node. So I will put this node here to make it a mobile. First, we will save this route by using this information. You can call it as you want and put the information you want here. I leave it like there. There is no loop after. The loop means that it comes again each the number of seconds we put here. It goes to the first point and continue the mobility without stopping, and we can choose the number of loops we do and so on. So in this case, just it starts, it goes from here till here and then stops. I will save it with its name, route 1. I do click just on save. Then I have created a route. So I can now delete all these markers. I can use it for other objectives, and I can draw this route, all the routes that I have created. So here I have just one route, but in the case where we have many routes, it can be displayed using this button. Then I can click on this sensor node that can be a mobile node, and go to GPS file and say it's route.gps, and then now it will be a mobile sensor node. The orange nodes, or red means they are waiting. The orange node means that the script code is already assigned, and if we have the yellow one here, which means it is a mobile and the GPS file is already assigned. So, but when the simulation, by default, the simulation doesn't take into account the mobiles nodes or the mobiles objects. So you have to activate first mobility and events before running the simulation if you want to take into account the mobility. So in this case now, if I run the simulation, it will work. And then, as you can see here, it's a mobile one here. So we have just to accelerate this simulation by putting here 100, and then you can see something more quickly. And now you can see that when it arrives here, it communicates with that one, it sends a message each second, and then it continues to sending messages. Also, I can increase or reduce the speed here, or increase the speed by reducing this value. So as you can see, okay, I will put a white map, and then I can remove the links and put 100 to see this arrows here. I stop, I can run again the simulation. This is when the sensor node are mobile. What we can do too, so we can here consider this node as a simple node, but with a sensor. So I will remove this GPS. Now it is not a mobile. It is not mobile. I can, but in this case, I can leave this route here, but I will add an object here, a mobile object. So the mobile object here, I will assign the GPS file here, the same. Then I will change the script of a hello code here, where I will read the value of the sensor. So instead of displaying hello world and generating the variable x and increasing this variable, I will just read sensor. I will read the value of the sensor digital, which means here it's digital sensor, which means here 0 or 1. In this case, it will be just I detect or I don't detect something. So read sensor x, just one, and it sends the value of the sensor, and then this value will send it. Instead of sending just a value that will increase, as in the previous case, will now send the values of the sensor. So I save the code here, and I go to the reception, and now I will not write I receive X, but I will write, I will not mark here by these conditions now. I will just say if X equal 1, which means it is detected, I will print detection. So it detects something, and I will mark it. Otherwise, I will print nothing, and I will unmark the node, and that's it. So now, if we display the nodes here, or the parameters, this is the with brackets, red or the red, the light. Sorry, the right bracket. I can increase this zone here of detection, which means if this mobile, this object goes inside this zone, then the sensor node consider that it detects something and send 1 here. Otherwise, if there is no any detection, so it sends 0. So let's just um, display the sensors here and run the simulation. As you can see here, it sends the value 0. If I increase the rows here, you can see that the value which is sent is 0. I will increase this to increase the mobile speed. And then now, as you can see, it detects, and this sensor is marked and it writes detection, which means it detects something. So let's stop the simulation and increase again this detection zone as this, and then I will go to the marker parameters, select on this to get the markers again, and then I will try to go to this point, for example. I will select this node, and when I click on the UK, I add points between this node and the next one. And then I will save again. And the roads now, so I can also delete it. Now if I draw the roads, select the roads, okay, like this. So now you can run the simulation again. And now you can see that this is detected, and now it is not detected. So, okay. We can, of course, go again to the markers and go to this point, and click on U and save. Yes, I replace the next. I select it. I can draw all the nodes here, and this time I will say that I need a loop after just 1 second, and I do 10 routes, 10 loops. Sorry. So save. No markers. Why they say no markers here? I'll try to 2. Okay, that's it. Okay, there is no markers. Sorry. So I have to create markers, because when I delete it, I do this and I draw this red one. There is no markers. So I do it. Now I have a marker. So now, and 1 second here, and 10 loops, and I will save it or replace it. Or I can delete it again. So this time this object will be do some loops here, and goes again to the starting point and do this route 10 times. Okay, so now by default this carbon simulation doesn't save the values of the result of the battery. So we can draw the battery by clicking on, by selecting the sensor node. Here I will select all of them by using this button, for example, and click on B. Here you get the values of the battery, which represents in Joule 2AA battery. And here you have the buffer, the values of buffer. So 0 on this number, over this number. So in order to display what happens in each time I want to say the log file, then just check this value here, log, and the results, and you say this is for, so it is an discrete event simulation. So if you want to draw very nice graphs, each in equal time, then you can specify the time of simulation here. But in reality, it's a discrete event simulation. This is just to take points in these times and to draw nice curves. So if you got to get the results and draw the curves of the battery, then you have to check this result. And if you want to see the log file to see exactly what happens each moment in the simulation, then you just to check this. And then I can, for example, run the simulation. It's okay now. I stop the simulation. Now, if I select this sensor node, I can go to the graph here, battery level, and you can draw this node here. If we want to draw all the nodes, then select all the nodes here, and you can draw all the graphs at the same time. So there is some displaying problems. So this is the level of the battery, and you can also do the same thing, but you need to close and open again, and here it's the moment of the consumption of each node. So you can just use, for example, that one just to see this graph here. And the log, it's in the it's situated in this, you can see here, user sponsor desktop Insta. So you have to go to Insta here and go to the, I think I call this project test. So this is what this project, and you have the logs in this directory, and you can open the log and see all the details of the simulation. Like for example, in this time, minimum is that one, S10 buffer available, exit waiting is reading from its buffer 9 sharp 0 and put it in message, the variable message, read data, and so on. So you can read all the details in this log. So thank you and see you in next tutorials.